Your players had talked yesterday about that blank sheet of paper that you gave them kind of to start next week, last week off, representing a new start. But then also some physical practices that you had on Thursday and a very competitive practice that you had on Friday. It felt kind of intentional on your part to work on the mindset and the psyche of this team. Was that important to you in terms of setting up what happened on Sunday?
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, every team is pretty much a reflection of their head coach. So if you're not mentally tough, that's what I pride myself on. That was my way as a player to have that kind of mindset. Not to blink, not to worry about anything. And I just wanted to start that process with the gentlemen. They bought into it. I kind of laid out that we'll start off here and I'll dial it back. And they responded. It was a really, that's when I knew we were going to have a good game. Just the way we practiced, the intention, the purpose was there.
Coach Irvin Magic told me once the difficulty in coaching is that people who've had great success struggle with players who don't give maximum effort. I'm curious for you as a coach, you were a great player. Is that something that is hard for a coach to look at guys who have all the talent but maybe don't have the will? Is that an adjustment?
Yeah, I just don't know how you make it, for long periods of time not giving it your all. To have the longevity, you have to have that kind of effort and that purpose. I keep using that word purpose. This game is hard because at some point you're gonna get older, and the young bull comes up, and now he's chasing you, and after a while he's gonna catch you. So when you look at some of the great players, and I was fortunate to play with a lot of Hall of Famers, it was their work ethic, it was the way they practiced, it was their determination to be great, regardless of how far they got, if they ever reached those goals. It was just the mindset.
You had the 8 sacks. What do you see from guys besides Max? We're all asking you. What do you see from other guys on the defensive front last night?
When it came to our rush,
Yeah.
maximum effort. I mean, me and Max jokes about it, me trying to max his effort, vice versa. But our defense and our team, especially our D-line, and guys that were blitzing, did a hell of a job last night of just, being relentless. And we talked about that, straining to finish through the play, playing through the whistle, not thinking that, oh, he's going to make it or that guy's going to make it. No, I'm going to make it. If we all have that mentality, roll call on the ball.
You mentioned young bulls. Meek Robertson, he made a mistake early in the game. He had a chance to clear his mind and get back out there and made a big play later. How does that say about him, the player, that he's able to do that?
Yeah, it goes back to our mindset, the blank paper. He turned his sheet. It was blank on the other side. Start from scratch. Kid went out there, made a play. Then came back, punched the ball out, extremely aggressive. When the Meek's on his game and he's rolling, he's one of our best ball hawks. Whatever he is, whether 5'8", 5'9", but I mean he's up in there like he's 7 feet tall, and extremely athletic, extremely competitive. He's in and out the lineup, but he's always ready and dialed in mentally, and that's one thing that even before I got in this seat, just watching him from afar, I respect about his game.
Go along with that, can you also talk about Nate Hobbs' interception and also what you believe he provides to the team from an energy level?
Yeah, go back to that play. I mean, the ball's tipped up in the air. Look like Robert Spillane's gonna get it, and all of a sudden here comes Nate Hobbs. This guy's running to the ball. Like I said, it's just the strain that we really talked about in that practice Thursday and Friday, of not waiting for things to happen, to go make things happen.
Do you believe it's possible to have an offensive mindset defensively? And if so, in terms of the attacking nature, and if so, do you feel like your defense is starting to kind of acquire that?
Yeah, I think Patrick Graham's done an outstanding job all season long. Early in the season, I thought we were doing a really good job there. We had some moments we wish we can take back. But, Patrick Graham has set the tone with the gentlemen in that room. They are now buying into his personality, into the philosophy, into our defense. And then when you're led by great players as well, that helps. When they buy into what the coordinator is saying, everybody else will follow.
And likewise, players have bought into you. How important is that?
I'm very appreciative of it. But when you're straightforward and no BS, it is what it is. You don't have to worry about anything.
Patrick Graham wanted you here. He was vocal in that, and I'm just curious. He's a guy that gets overlooked a lot, but has done a good job for the Raiders. Would you talk about your relationship with him, please?
Yeah, it goes back to 16. First year he was with the Giants. I was always, I was actually on ESPN at the time, and I would pop my head in there with the Giants and be around the program. And Patrick was coaching the defensive line, and a couple times I go in there with JPP and those guys and joke, and we kind of built a relationship there that year. Then in 2017, I went back as a consultant to Steve Spagnuolo and worked close with the linebackers in the front seven, and that's where our bond, kind of grew from there. But you can see the mind. You can tell, he's a D-line coach, and you know, those guys are loud, they're all over the place, but, you know, he had the mindset and the focus, and obviously very articulate in how he speaks to get his point across, that you know he'll be a good defensive coordinator. And I don't think he's being overlooked. It's just when the opportunity comes, I mean, he's going to grab it and run with it. Just, you know, it's like any of us. Just need that opportunity.
And Tony, what have you seen thus far out of Tyree, and what do you want to see more out of him going forward?
Yeah, I think we've all seen the progress. You know, it first started with just to get out of the stands. You know, so we worked on that. And obviously he's a big human being, very talented. He's going to be a good football player in this league. But this league is very humbling. You just don't walk in day one and become the guy. And I think he's now embraced the process of working every day. You know, you watch like a guy like Max Crosby come out to practice, or Tate come out to practice early and get in those extra reps. Well, you see him doing that as well. So the improvement, I know he had a half a sack last night, but more importantly, what he does for us in the running game, how violent he is, setting the edge. Obviously, there's going to be still more growth there for him, but he's a guy that has the right attitude, if I can say, to come to work. And I think he's been humble about his early experience, that coaching comes a lot easier, you know, when you get humble.
You talk about turning the page. Sometimes that means turning the page from something good as well, and not dwelling on that too much to get focused on the New York Giants. What are you looking to see from your team, understanding that they've processed it, they've enjoyed it, but now it's time to go get ready for another game?
Yeah, well, they got 2 days off, victory Monday. They'll come in Wednesday, and we'll start on the Jets. That's how we'll do it. The Giants is over. We're not doing anything looking backwards. That's not going to help us going forward.
How much did you challenge the offensive line, knowing that Wink Martindale was a guy that was going to bring pressure from everywhere, and they had to keep O'Connell clean, which they did?
Yeah, I was in every meeting with the O-line this week. I was their best friend. You know, I was encouraging them. You know, I was trying to learn the terminology. Obviously, you know, coming from deep side of the ball the last 2 years, and not really focus on, you know, their terminology, their techniques, their fundamentals of how they coach and talk. But being over there just in words of encouragement, because that's a good group, and they're a tight knit group. And I think that showcased last night. If you really go back and watch the game, watch our guys come off the ball to the second level. You know, it was impressive. It set the tone the first drive of the game. They are the reason why, if we're going to move forward and keep moving forward, it'll be because of those guys.
And Josh Jacobs as well. You mentioned heart and soul of the team. That's what you wanted to see, that performance last night.
Yeah, you saw the carry. You saw the angry the angry running back. You know, the guy that just ran he wasn't going to allow one person to tackle him. Even on that one touchdown, you just saw his legs just kind of grinding it out, man. And that's what we talked about, just the strain, fellas. Strain to finish the plays. And again, hats off to all our players.
Everything felt like a kind of a whirlwind last week. It was just like a sprint to the finish line, and you talked about maybe finally getting rest on Sunday night. Were you able to do that? Were you able to rest? And then does it now become a marathon? Like the sprint is over, now it's kind of a marathon the rest of the way?
I mean, there's always a grind. That's the best part about the National Football League is just kind of resetting, going back. But I did get the rest. That was beautiful to put your phone down for a little bit, try to respond to some text messages, but just to kind of like, to be honest, take it all in. To really, you know, understand what just happened, you know, for myself, obviously, which was a big change. For this organization, for our players, for our coaches. I mean, it was a lot. You know, I'm not gonna lie, it wasn't easy. But the guys made it easy by how they were having fun last night and smiling. So I had a good night's sleep.
I want to say something different with the practice squad players on the sideline yesterday. If that is the case, why was that important for you to have them down there on the field?
They got a Raiders uniform. These guys bust their tails. You know, last week was just 2 days. This week it'll be 3 days, and they're giving us looks both on offense, defense, special teams. They're working out in the morning. They're in the meetings. They're in everything about it. But then on game day, where are they? That wasn't my belief. I've been at other places, either as a coach when I was in high school or college. Every man's in, man. If you're on a team, you're a part of the team, you're there on game day. And I just felt the way that we practiced those 2 days and what we asked them to do, they deserved to be on our sideline. They earned that right. And I hope they don't stay on practice squad. I hope they push themselves to become on the active roster. And that was the carry that I dangled in front of them. And they brought energy on the sideline. Now, it was a little busier than I'm used to. But you know what? I'll take it when they bring that kind of juice that they did.
Vic and Honda.
What have you seen from Michael Mayer? Looks like his blocking has got a lot better this season. What have you seen from Michael Mayer?
Man, Mike's he's a tough SOB now. You know, that he gets after it. And just even if you think about that one catch he had out there on the sideline, gets hit in the back and still stumbles for a couple more yards. Like, not too many guys are doing that. You know, most guys fold up and they roll on the sideline and they're the blue tent. You know, Mike's got a different grit to him. And that's the kind of personality that, you know, we want our whole entire team to have. You know, and obviously he embraces that. He's being much better in the running game. You can see him in the passing game. there's a bright future there.
Coach, I'm gonna ask a personal question, but you got this job because you're good, not your color. But you referenced yesterday the president, the GM, and yourself as a father to a child who is black and Filipino. This is a trailblazing organization. Do you ever stop and think about the young ones that are coming, that you're the first, as a group, as an entity, as being trailblazers?
No doubt. That's why I said I'm humbled and honored by it. I don't take it lightly. There's not many people from my background, grew up from where I grew up, to be in front of the stage, to have this kind of responsibility. But more importantly, when you look at the Raiders' history, going back to Art Shell and everything that he did as one of the first black African American coaches, and being successful doing it as a player, then as a coach within this organization, and then Tom Flores, it wasn't until I saw it on paper, he said, whoa, wow, that's different. And then it's a woman as well, I just think this hats off to, obviously, it started with Mr. Davis, Al Davis, and now Marcus carried that on as well. But I do look at myself as somebody who can be a leader and an example for the other children, wherever they may be in the world, that, listen, you can do it. If I did it, I know you can do it. Guarantee that, you know what I mean? So hopefully they believe and dream like I did and work their asses off to get there.
Last question, Q.
Just wanted to ask if there's an update on Marcus Peters and his knee. He didn't return to the game.
Yeah, I haven't been down there yet. Those guys are still kind of going in because obviously the day off. But you know what? It was one of those games where I'm sure if it was, close, he would have been in there. You know what I mean? But, he was being smart, and he was being smart as well.
All right. Thanks, Coach.